Covington-built Rogers drums are a favorite among vintage drum collectors and considered by some to be the most musical and best-sounding drums ever made. Of course, this is subjective and you may have a different opinion, but in this video we're going to take a look at one of the kits from this period. It does have some modifications and I will describe those as we go through it. Rogers built their drums in Covington, Ohio from approximately 1954 to 1968 before moving on to Dayton, Ohio, then on to Fullerton, California. Based on the serial numbers shown on the tags placed inside the shells, this is a 1962 to 63 holiday model, swing time configuration, and blue sparkle pearl. You can trace these drums down to the very person who assembled them in the factory based on the initials found on the tags. The RJ was Ralph Johnson, the H was John Harmon, and the D for Daryl Chenoweth. The sizes diameter first are a 12 by 8 rack tom, a hard to come by 14 by 14 floor tom, and a 20 by 14 kick drum. I don't have a matching snare, so I'm using a late 1960s Covington-made 14 by 5 power tone and silver sparkle finish. These drums have sharp bearing edges and 3-ply Jasper shells, which were replaced by Rogers in 1964 to 1965 with the 5-ply Keller shells. If you have a letter stamped in your re-rings, your shells are likely from Jasper. My toms have an F stamped in them, as you can see here. Not all Jasper shells have this, and it's unclear what exactly the stamp was for, but it was not done at the Rogers factory and no Keller shells wore this mark. These drums have what are referred to as tall boy hoops, which measure approximately 1 1/4 inches. The extra height was possibly to allow for heads made of animal hide, which can stretch over time, pushing the flesh hoop lower on the drum. And although plastic heads were being delivered with these drums, animal skin was also still popular. These hoops were replaced with shorter ones sometime after Rogers switched to the beaver tail lug in 1963. On the topic of lugs, an identifying feature of this era of Rogers are what are called bread and butter lugs. These lugs are beautiful and made of drawn brass, but they're also known for cracking over time, and it's difficult to find a kit that has all its lugs in perfect condition. The solution to this problem for many has ranged from soldering and using various types of bonding materials, changing the lugs outright to the later beavertail model, or even other brands of lugs. Unfortunately, this usually means drilling new holes in the shells, which I personally would not want to do. With the recent relaunch of Rogers, a 2-sided die-cast reproduction model of this lug became available. It's designed for a drum that has a single center lug, such as a snare drum, or some tower model drums, but I was able to adapt it and use it for my 2 toms. All of my lugs are in great condition, but I replaced them anyway in order to preserve them in case I ever sold the kit. A quick note though, the original brass lugs weigh approximately 53.6 grams, while the reproduction die-cast version weigh in at 77.7 grams. Being that they are much heavier and made of different material, you could expect there to be some sonic effect on the drums, but I did not do this comparison. The larger bass drum lugs are the original drawn brass ones, but I reinforced them with a bonding agent in hopes of keeping them from cracking. I did 2 videos on this, so you can go back and watch those if you're interested. I will link those in the description. Another feature of this kit are the bow tie or faucet handle bass drum rods. These were replaced by the batwing style rods circa 1967. The tom mount that originally came with these drums is the patented swiv-o-matic ball and socket joint, first introduced by Rogers in 1959. Mine was slightly bent, so I chose to replace it for now with a Rogers new Ultramatic tom arm, which works great. I will say though that I do prefer the aesthetics of the original mount. At the time when the swiv-o-matic tom arm came on the market, there was nothing like it, and it was not uncommon to see drummers who played other brands of drums swap out their mounting system for this one. Ringo Starr, Mitch Mitchell, and John Bonham are among those who have been spotted using it on their kits. One last thing, many of my videos include data points that I have every reason to believe are accurate, but I want to have some way to correct and clarify any statements made after the video is posted, and so I am adding a corrections and additional comments section to the description of my videos that I will use to keep the conversation alive and relevant. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this piece of American drum history. If you did, please hit the like button and feel free to leave a comment. Thank you so much for watching.